I joined IFDS just over 5 years ago now, and my personal involvement started then, but certainly IFDS has really been involved with TISA as is today, and as PETMA and PIMA as it was in the dim and distant past, really pretty much from its outset, and we've always found it a really very valuable and focused discussion forum more than anything else. And indeed, my colleague in this case, Clive Shelton, is currently the Deputy Chair, so we're all fully aligned with what we're trying to do here. I didn't come with any particularly fixed ideas in this case, but I've certainly found the approach which TISA takes, which is both collaborative, seeks to lead the agenda by all means, but doesn't seek to dominate it, which is very collaborative. It certainly works through the council structure in really quite a democratic fashion. Doesn't seek to represent any one particular trade group interest or anything of that nature, but very much looks to, if you like, form a consensus based on what truly is genuinely in the best wider interests of the industry and indeed of consumers. It's a very appealing model, and I think we can see the success that brings in terms of the approach, the attitude that the press, the regulators, the tax authorities then reflect back when they're dealing with TISA as well. And it's very much a welcome addition and it is a welcome forum that actually brings really quite considered and quite thoughtful views, but it does it in a way that actually is collaborative and sensible. I've had the pleasure of both serving as the Deputy Chair and now as the Chair of the TISA Wrapping Platform Council. I've done for the last couple of years. I think in that period we've really found ourselves at the absolute forefront of all the debate around regulation and change, that quite a lot obviously coming from the regulator, but really a lot coming from the marketplace as a whole as the platform market has matured and reaches, I wouldn't claim it's grown up yet, but it's certainly perhaps in its early adolescence in this stage. Got a long way to go, but it's been a fascinating exercise to actually be part at the centre of that debate, and during that time we've really been at the centre of actually responding and trying to assist the regulator in terms of how you get your hands around regulation of this new burgeoning market space. We've been involved in the creation of originally the initiative that led to re-registration, that ultimately led to the creation of TECs, all emerged from within that platform group. We've obviously had considerable involvement in terms of shaping some of that regulation and change around that, really very collaboratively with the regulator through that period. And I think beyond that, my personal involvement, I've been involved in both the Distribution Council, Dave Hazelton's group in this case, as well as Richard Freeman's Central Investment Process Advisory Council. We were involved in the setting of that up from the outset in this case. So really seen it in all its guises so far. Very much a huge supporter of that council structure more than anything else, that actually brings a lot of wide industry views around a particular topic into one place. I think for me, in all honesty, as much about what impresses what TISA isn't. It doesn't seek to be a trade group, it doesn't seek to impose its views, it doesn't seek to particularly follow any kind of partisan viewpoints. It starts from the mindset that ultimately what's in the best interests of the consumer is in the best interests of the industry. And when you start from that almost that mantra at the outset, you end up with a collaborative and democratic structure that actually really does work. And again, to reiterate some of the points earlier, it brings home what you get back when you deal with the regulator, with tax authorities, with other groups within the industry, is a genuine common respect for the fact that TISA is trying to help and to do the thing that is right for that market segment. It's interesting to have seen TISA grow from, really was quite a small organisation, but it was right the way back at its outset in this case, from its kind of somewhat northern roots in this case. It really has become really very central to so much of the financial service industry more than anything else. I think where obviously John Brassington having passed over now to Tony Solway in this case, one of Tony's challenges is exactly that. What is TISA going to be in the future? Does it want to become broader in terms of representing yet further financial service segments? Does it want to become more detail focused? Or does it want to become more international in the sense of actually representing more than really quite a UK-centric focus as we have right now? I suspect it's a combination of all three, to be honest. I think certainly the UK financial service market will become increasingly dominated by European regulation, and hence we probably do as a group need to become much more engaged with Brussels and gain the same level of traction with the European regulators that we currently clearly now enjoy with the UK regulatory authorities and tax authorities. I think there's probably, I'd personally be a little nervous about getting involved in any much more broad financial service areas, particularly if it took us into, certainly into the much wider aspect, particularly say for example banking products and things like that. I think that's not an area that we particularly have the traction to want to be undertaking yet. But I think certainly we will probably get more involved in detail and really in trying to shape not just the wider debate but also actually seeing that wider debate carried through into really quite detailed guidance, standard setting and indeed involved in the final levels of regulatory detail.